And whilst much of our conversation has been predicated on the acknowledging that many things that we assume to be universal may be cultural, do you feel that there are anthropological roots that, if somehow honoured, might create fairer and more richer systems, i.e. through the running, when there is a tribe that have a shared purpose and a shared vision and a shared experience where there is mutual suffering and respect and a degree of equality, that for me, I sense that probably resonates with something somewhat inherent. Would you agree?
Yes, I do think. I don't think that civil societies can function without numerous forms of collective identity. That idea that you must. So I've often thought about this as a kind of an abstract exercise. If you meet someone and you say, "What are all the ways in which you would describe yourself?" And what you find, of course, is that people, the minute they're even remotely reflective, they can come up with multiple descriptors. I could be a woman. I can be Greek. I could be gay. I could be a mother, a daughter. I could be a physician. I could, you can imagine, I've described someone for you she could also be, say she's an athlete. She's a basketball player. All of those things are deeply important to her. Maybe she's religious. Make that 8. I've now described 8 ways in which 8 identities, possible identities for her. And then you say, okay, let's give everyone 8. Let's say everyone has 8 identities. Each person will rank them differently. For some people, the identity of physician would be 1, mother 2, Greek 3rd. Some people will be Greek 1, mother 5, athlete 2. Everyone's got their own way of kind of organizing. And when you sort of take a step back and make everyone do that exercise, you realize, good Lord, there is an enormous variety in the way we make sense of each other. So you have to, if you're going to have a country, you have to be deeply respectful of that variety. That not everyone, just because I, Malcolm Gladwell, put my identity of writer first and Canadian 5th, does not mean that I can look down my nose at someone who puts Canadian first and their profession at the bottom of the list, right? That's what, to my mind, what I was asked today in one of my interviews for Talking to Strangers. Someone who's probably on the conservative side of things, was asking kind of leading questions about my attitude towards identity politics. But to my mind, all identity politics is people making this argument. They're just saying, for me, my sexual identity or ethnic identity is at the top of the list. What's wrong with that? It's fine. It's like they're just saying my order is going to be different than your order. And my order, by the way, is different from the order that society permitted through most of its history. Really useful to know, right? Not threatening. Why is that threatening? It's just, they're just saying, this is what matters for me in this moment in my life. And that is what everyone has always been doing for as long as people have been, have been human.
Why is it threatening, do you think? Because, you as you said, it's not threatening. My assumption would be that it is threatening because it's an acknowledgement of this process of diffusion and an inability to contain. This for me speaks to power relationships. If someone goes, I'm no longer a member of this nation, I'm a member of this new nation, this is who I am, this is how I identify. Yeah. It's a challenge to the very modalities by which we measure and appoint people.
It requires an adjustment on the part of the person who is in a position of power. That's what it means, right? Mm-hmm. So I can no longer assume the world, those who work for me or who are under me in the hierarchy, organize their identities in the same way that I do. And that means I have to think about them, adjust them, be empathetic, see the world through their eyes, do all kinds of things which are, maybe difficult and time-consuming and costly emotionally and all kinds of things. But it's a relatively small price to pay for respecting someone's dignity.
Yes.
But it's if you're accustomed to being on top and assuming everyone organizes their life the way you do, it's an imposition.
I suppose power is about, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it, and I don't want to deal with all this complexity and potential opposition because your worldview differs with and possibly opposes mine. So that makes sense to me. Thanks for watching this podcast and going all the way to the end of it. Would you so kind as to click the bell? It might not be there because they're over there, and subscribing so that we can infiltrate your serenity and peace of mind with jangling bells and buzzes. Thank you.